Well, what would you say about this one? He says that he would gladly give up his Instagram for the right woman if it made her uncomfortable.
Good intent, maybe a bad action. Every case is different, but so I can break apart the pieces of it, and I think the motivations would be. So you would gladly give up your Instagram for the right woman if it made her uncomfortable. Well, the first thing I'm thinking about is, yes, most men are way more willing, at least initially, to be committing and to want to provide and protect, and like men are the natural, like true romantics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that's true. Yes. Like that's a good thing. However, there's a balance to be had with doing things that might make her uncomfortable by proxy and like directly doing things to make her uncomfortable. So, like, yes, I believe you. And I'm not saying if you did give up your Instagram that like it would be like the worst mistake ever. There's obviously a balance of many, many factors, but understand the effects. So if you gave up your Instagram to make her less uncomfortable, just realize if the Instagram was a method by which like hot women would show pre-selection towards you, or at least mildly attractive women, like if you were just getting any level of attention from women on Instagram and it like bothered your wife and you weren't acting on it, and you remove that, just realize that you just removed a way to inspire a little bit of dread in your wife, that like, and you removed some pre-selection. Like, so both of those things were working for the positivity of your relationship with this woman, right? You like, she needs to know that other women want you, because that by definition means you're worth wanting. And so if you remove a mechanism by which that happens, that can be bad. Like if you're going to lots of social events and like this is already a thing that's happening, like maybe you don't need Instagram, cool, get rid of it, doesn't matter, like insignificant. But if it's the only thing, maybe think twice. You know, I don't necessarily think it's it's I don't know your situation, so I don't know, but these are the things that could happen.
I can tell you what would run in the female brain when you when you give up your Instagram or whatever you are doing. Every time men give up their purpose in life, and I'm not saying that Instagram should be your purpose, right? But it starts small, and then women are like children. I'm not saying that they necessarily look like children, but they behave like children sometimes, you know. So they push on their boundaries, and they try to see where you crack. So if you give them little by little, soon you won't have any freedom, right? And you won't have any authority for your own life and for your own actions, because she will be dominating you. And this is how it usually goes. So first it starts with you giving up your social media account. Then the right woman, which if we go back to Rollo Tomas's The Rational Male book, define the right, the soulmate myth. They don't exist, right? You have what you have, and then if she fits in with your standards, then I guess she's the right woman for you, right? But there is no soulmate, neither for men nor for women, right? We look at it from the rational standpoint, and it just doesn't exist, okay? So while you're looking for the right woman, you will end up being single. You know, and the same to women. They are looking for the right man. Women are looking for Jesus, right? They end up being single. So yeah, I wouldn't rely on like looking for the right woman. Not to disregard your standards. Yeah, she should meet your bare minimum standards. And the standards for women are so low today that you can't give up your frame if you want to set up your the standards for her. You know, so only strong, rational, masculine men can hold women accountable and to a higher standard, because most women are not that. Yes, shame this horse. I actually have a sound drop for this. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. Here.
I could have sworn your sound drop showed up on somebody else's live stream. Your voice, and I'm pretty sure it said that. I don't know if it was Rollo or yes.
Shame this horse.
Yes, I finally got my own sound drop. Yeah. Thank you, Ship. Yeah.
You finally made it.
I finally made it. I gave it to everybody else, but I didn't upload it here on my stream so that I could use it occasionally when I need to. I need to add more sound drops, guys.
Well, that was a text alert.
Yeah. Well, it's for the community. Yeah. So don't rely on the right, like define the right woman also. Like, who is the right woman? The one who, what's her behavior like? And like the term, the right, it's going to be right in a different way for everybody. So different men will want different women. It's very subjective. Yeah, there should be certain standards, and this is what we are trying to establish here for women, especially. But different men find attractive different women. Some men love horse, right? Some men love OnlyFans girls. They hang out with the OnlyFans girls. The other men, they choose, no, this is not my cookie, I'll go elsewhere, right? I'll go and maybe find a long-term commitment with one woman. Some men, they have a wife, but they also exercise their options. They are cheating on their wives. And if their wives are fine with it, I mean, this is how...
define cheating. Be sure to define that.
Well, cheating, like sleeping, having sexual intercourse. Okay, let's go to the physics here. So he's cheating on his wife, but if she still is with this man, it means that she's satisfied with it, right? She doesn't leave him because she likes the lifestyle that he provides for her. There are certain reasons why she's still with this man who is cheating on her.
Now, cheating, like in this context, are we talking about two people that have previously agreed to have a monogamous relationship, and one of them says, or doesn't even say, he just goes and breaks that,
and breaks the vow? Yeah, that's.
Or are you
cheating.
referring to like generally relationships where like it's not spoken about, but it's sort of understood that like the guy's not committed to anything, but they still have a positive relationship?
Well, if they both want an open relationship, then I would just paraphrase what Glenn Lawrence was saying. Then why to bother getting married to begin with when you can just date non-exclusively? If you are committing to each other, you're supposed to be together. But due to the cultural differences, it's possible, and also economical differences. Different countries view cheating differently. So I know that in Russia, women outnumber men drastically, especially with the recent events that have been happening there.
Where are all the men going?
Well, the men, they are fighting, right? So the number of available men that are high value men out of like general men, like we kill men, right? And then within those men that are left there, only 4.5% are the ones that women actually want, or maybe even less, right? So that number is shrinking too. So it's all statistics. This is why women in Russia, usually, I'm not saying that that's the case for a lot of women out there, but I've seen cases where a man would cheat, a man would actively exercise his options, and a wife would still stay with him. Because it's either that or she will end up being single. And women, by nature, they would much rather share a man than get rid of all of the resources that he has. I'm not saying this is good, okay? I'm not. I'm not suggesting that you guys should go do cheat, exercise your options, and etc. No, there should be some moral principles, but sometimes your statistics, your demographics determines that for you, whether you like it or not. I've seen women who hate this idea of men cheating on them. They don't like it, and like, look, maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm not in Russia, because I wouldn't be able to tolerate that. Okay, but a lot of women who stay there, they are agreeing subconsciously to this happening to them, and this is why you see a lot of single women out there. They can't resist the feminist propaganda. They don't want to. They still choose to be single, strong, powerful, and independent rather than sharing a man. But when the times are bad and Russia is falling apart, uh, all things can happen. You know, we might see that polygamous relationships are going to be the thing there on the male side. So a man will be taking care of multiple women, which unofficially already is happening.
Right, and that's probably the way that it's going to continue, because it's like nobody wants to make that, like the women don't want to make it official. This is not something people talk about necessarily. This is like,
Sure.
when it comes down to it, most women are probably going to say, well, no, I want one man, both because it sounds correct, and two, because they probably in an ideal world would like full commitment from one man. But in the real world, when they like have the options they have and life happens as it does, and you end up with a man who can provide like a bunch of stuff for you, and you have a very positive relationship with him, but no, like never committed to anything. You're in a very clearly non-committal relationship. Like, if you continue to have sex, you are sharing him. Like, that's just, and it might be something they just push out of their head, because it's like, well, I'm like, this is a trade-off. This is like, I get all these wonderful resources, and like I give him these things for myself because these are the things that he would want. And like that's who's to say that's a negative relationship? Like, presuming it's healthy and there's no like manipulation going on. So, you know.
Well, what the Bible was saying, it was not the norm that
Right.
people would be in polygamous relationships, right? There were the cases where, yes, a man would have multiple wives, but it was not common back then, right? Now we see that more and more women are inclined towards sharing a high value man rather than settling down with a, I don't want to say like lesser high value man, because women are wired to want the best that they can get, right? Women pick winners. There is nothing wrong with this, because this is how we are programmed. But at the same time, the amount of delusion, my question is, how much of this is biological programming, and how much of this is the feminist ideology? That if you look back in history, like before the 1950s, right, before the sexual revolution, women would settle down for a man. They would stay in a long-term relationship. Once she was married, she was done, right? But there were no social media. The TV wasn't that developed back then, and women had less options. Let's say they had to stick around with the man that they chose to be with. They chose to spread their legs with. Now, like, she can spin plates, basically do the same thing that men are doing, the high value men are doing, because she has become this alpha female in her mind. But we are applying male masculine standards on a woman. And then she expects, even Emma, this is something for you to think about, even stronger. Even like the best of the best. How much stronger must he be in order to be with you? This is how we've been training women to operate. I'm not saying that this is like your mistake, your problem per se. I think it's more of a generational cycle that we are experiencing right now, because this ideology has been perpetrated for 5 generations. Even if you ask your mother, your grandmother, your great grandmother, they won't know, because they even if they were married and settled, the feminism started being introduced into schools, and they started consuming this kind of content, right? That set up their belief system. And now we see women who are like, well, this is the truth. It's only the truth in her mind because she wants to believe it. It was forced into her. But if you go back to the basic biology, you will see how much it contradicts the feminist ideology. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So when I was taking psychological statistics, and I had 2 courses, oh my gosh, I was pretty good at it. I really enjoyed it. We were doing analysis. We were having multiple variables and factors. So the factors were impacting, or it was the other way around. I don't remember. You can correct me, okay, if somebody is familiar with psychological statistics. So we had the baseline, right? And then we were introducing different variables. And then we were checking the results. We were running a bunch of z-tests, t-tests, the probability tests. And we were comparing like the deviation of the behavior, like one way or the other way, depending on like the group of population. We had different samples and we were running like a bunch of tests on them. It's fascinating. This is why I'm saying that if we introduce feminism on top of our biology, this is the end result that we are going to get. What we have right now, both on men and women, because both have been brainwashed. So men have been brainwashed to behave like defective women, and women have been brainwashed to behave like an alpha man out there. You see that, like the reverse of genders in terms of behavior. And then women are whining, bitching, and complaining that men don't behave in a masculine way anymore. They don't behave like men, because what women have done is they've castrated the men to have any authority to behave in a masculine way. There is no one without the other. And this is where women are really struggling. I'm like, ladies, you have to realize that you are the ones who have created this mess. Oh, by the way, we talked with Emma last time, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, about how feminism started, and it started in church. This is why church cannot conquer feminism, because this is where feminism was born. This is why you see a lot of men are checking out from church and they are looking for solution. They are looking for alternative. They're looking for actionable advice from other masculine men. Yeah, guys. And by the way, I refer you to check Common Man podcast, Paul Bauer, read his book. Then I refer you to Glenn Lawrence. We do a lot of shows with Glenn, and we are going to do more reaction videos where we will debunk some silly content out there. And we will also maybe do something with RP Thor eventually. So read his book, A Dominant Masculine Presence. I'm referring you to the source. Also, go read the books by Rollo Tomasi, so that you get the idea. What we are doing here, it's kind of like general. We often get off topic, and yeah, we're just kind of summarizing the ideas.
I don't know if we get off topic. The topic just changes.
The topic changes, yeah. Well, it's so connected because, look, I see the problem in both women and men today. Both have issues, and I think that the best way to resolve those issues, or at least understand what we should and shouldn't do, like who was it, Michael was saying, it's to go back to the biblical patriarchy and actually understand what wise God has proposed for us to do, because otherwise we will be thrown into different trends, and then they will try to like revive these traditional values and all the crazy stuff that is happening right now. We are so far gone from reality, and it's just frustrating to watch, really. It's also scary. Like, what will our children do?
They'll do what we did. They'll do most likely what they see us do when they grow up.
Exactly. Yeah. So if they see more delusion, they're going to. At some point, it's just like the bubble will blow up.
Well, it's already happening. I mean, I've been doing a lot of reading and seeing a lot of videos about Generation Alpha, and the future is scary.
It is scary.
A lot of teachers are speaking out and saying that these kids are coming to school, they can't read, they can't write, they can't do basic maths. They have no respect for authority. If you tell them to sit down, they go, no, I don't want to. And that's because they're being brought up by millennials who are very much, being brought or had it forced on them through social media and the internet, that you do what you want, you do what makes you happy.
You're right.
Blah, blah, blah. And so what you're saying, if this generation is anything to go by,